everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stardom Review, a now weekly show where I and Andre there, review the amazing Japanese wrestling company known as Stardom. I am Melball Collins. Over there is Andre C. Andre, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. Get to watch some great Stardom over the last few days. I got it done. I got finished last night, so yes. I skip. It's Sunday as we record this. I skipped the Royal Rumble to watch some Japanese women's wrestling, and I think I
Good choice.
personally I made the good decision because I love me some Stardom, baby.
Hey, as someone who watched the Rumble yesterday, I mean, you probably made a decent choice, but there was some pretty decent matches on there. You can check out some other reviews, like on OLE there. We had Astrid Pizarro, Bobby Munson, Chris Best, and there was a fourth one on there. Who was that? Was it Chris Parrish showed up? I think it was Chris Parrish.
I've been Parrish, yeah.
Yeah, all of them showed up on OLE to review the Royal Rumble there, so you'll want to check that out. But yeah, the women's Rumble, Rhea Ripley winning that one, Andre. How
I
impressive
haven't
is
watched
that?
it yet. What the hell? Spoiling it for me.
Hey, if you hadn't, it's all over social media. There's
I haven't been on social media all morning except for messaging you.
Well, spoiler alert. How do you feel about that, Andre?
I expected her to win anyway. So, but
Same.
again, a former Stardom wrestler goes and wins the Royal Rumble. Here, it's all tying in. Rhea Ripley. I'm pretty sure Rhea Ripley was a wrestler in Stardom at one point early on. I'm fairly sure.
Or maybe we'll have to double check that. I don't rightly know myself, but we'll have to check that out for sure.
But it's
that
great
also being
wrestling.
said,
yeah.
Asuka showing up in the women's Rumble clearly took a little chapter out of Fukigen Death's little Bible there. That face paint on her did not move. Super impressive. Super impressed with that.
So I'm wrong.
Andre.
She was not in Stardom. I'm wrong. I'm thinking of somebody else.
I'm
wrong.
We'll
but
mix
still,
that and move on.
Great women's wrestling, and we got Asuka, former Stardom wrestler.
And as I said, that face paint didn't go anywhere.
There you go.
She kept it on there. But we are here to talk about Stardom and the Stardom tournaments that are happening right now. So we're going to be taking care of two shows today. We got the New Blood show that happened on January 20th. That was kind of it felt like a crossover between Stardom and Diana. And then we also had the 21st show, which was the Triangle Derby. So we are going to get into the first night here, which is the January 20th show, the New Blood show.
There we go.
This was so fun, Andre.
Oh, I had a great time with this. Like it was very different, and it's the first round in the tag team title tournament too. That they're setting up the New Blood tag titles, which will be defended on New Blood shows, and it's from what I wrestle, it's from wrestlers that are newer, but Starlight Kid's in this tournament, and that's where I'm very confused. Starlight Kid's been around.
Zaya Brookside.
But Zaya Brookside was there for a slight bit, then left. She's still technically new to Stardom in reality.
New to Stardom, but certainly not inexperienced. That's for sure.
No, but I looked at it as new to Stardom for these people, and that's where I got very confused. So, yeah, the New Blood, it's New Blood 7, by the way. And we started out with a match between Rina from Oedo Tai and Miran, who is 13 years old.
Yeah, Miran, yeah.
And against a 18 or 16-year-old Rina, and I felt really it was really weird watching a 16-year-old beat up a 13-year-old. Like
I mean, better in the ring than on the streets, though, right?
Yeah, but it was still awkward just watching this little 13-year-old girl, and Rina dominated most of this match. Miran got some stuff in, but it was Rina dominating throughout, and it just felt weird just watching a little girl get beat up. At least when Kenny Omega fought the little girl, she just hit moves on him the entire time.
Yeah, there was a distinct styling difference, I think, though, between Rina in regards to this. But I felt that Miran did her best to try to kind of counter everything, throwing herself quite often with the crossbodies to take down Rina. And they oftentimes did work. Rina's quite experienced in Oedo Tai, but like anybody, if you get hit off of the top there, your feet are coming out from underneath you. Unless you're you and taking drop kicks from Waka, then you're probably not going over.
You're just going what the hell?
Yeah, or just dusting off the shoulder. Yeah, this match, it was a little... for me, not having ever like I've heard of these matches with these little girls in them, I've never actually like seen one personally. So yeah, it was at first when I was like looking at that, I was trying to get over the fact that it was a literal child. But I did feel that, this is where the girls typically start and the age that they typically start in Japan. So, Miran's and she's been like, when you look into her history, she's actually got like a fair amount of experience going on, this little girl. So yeah, it was for me as a North American typically viewer, a little scary. A little scary. I was a little scared. But at the end of it, I actually felt it was a really good opener and better than some of the other openers that we've seen with other shows.
Yeah, and in the end, Rina hits a gory special facebuster into the and gets the pin. And like honestly, like on the bad match, I was just sitting there the entire time thinking, this is a 16-year-old beating up a 13-year-old, going, okay, at least it's not an adult beating a child. At least.
Yeah. Like I said, at least it's in the ring and not in the streets.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, I messed up and missed a card, I think.
Well, match 2 is Ruaka with
I have them out of order. So originally it was supposed to be Lady C, so just ignore Lady C there. These are the original cards, but until I think it was Mayu something got taken out and Lady C's replacing her in the tag tournament, so that's where the change was. You'll see it when the card comes up, anyways. But yeah, this ended up being a singles match: Marika Kobashi versus Ruaka. This was very good. I really liked Marika, however you want to call it, Marika, in this match. A little bit sloppy early on with the neckbreaker that she hit on Ruaka, and a couple of drop kicks that looked very
chaotic, yeah.
Just barely touching, and it just. But she picked it up as they went, right? And it really good. Ruaka with that running cross and then the senton right after. She does it in a lot of her matches. It's so good. And then and then the transition out of the pin into the crossface for her, absolutely phenomenal. Marika with gets a roll up and a short DDT onto Ruaka. I really like it was like Alexa Bliss style where she has the opponent on her knees and DDTs her down. I really like that style DDT, and I think works perfectly for Marika because at the height she's at, it's like she's almost not bending over for it. And then Marika picks her up, but she ends up getting run into the corner, and this is where Ruaka hits the tree slam and the splash off the top, picking up
Freezer bomb.
Win. What was it called?
Freezer bomb.
Freezer bomb. I gotta change that. Yeah, freezer bomb.
It's like Doki's Daybreaker. It's one of those just awesome, perfectly named moves.
I don't know. That one confuses me, but okay. Daybreaker, cool. That's just awesome. But freezer bomb, where's the freezer in all this? That's a real question. But I thought great match between both these women.
100%. I actually really agree. Kobashi, Marika Kobashi there, reminding me a little bit of Hana Kimura with her intro and her getup. It really, really made me like, oh, I love her. I just met her and I love her. Using Ruaka at the beginning here, also using a handshake to kind of pull in Kobashi and jumpstart that match. Very, very smart on Ruaka's part. The machine gun chops by Kobashi, I thought were actually very, very solid, reminiscent of Kenta Kobashi, who also did very, very, very solid, stiff machine gun chops. So appropriate name. I really enjoyed that. There was one point where Ruaka actually had Kobashi in like a camel clutch, but she was like holding her up by her little moon buns.
Yeah.
Kobashi had in. And what I noted on that one was when I really like, I don't remember who else usually does it. I think it was Risa Sera who will take that and slam the person's face into the mat right after that. Ruaka holding the moon buns just plants Kobashi's face, and she did not bounce. She just thudded. I heard that one. That one made me kind of a little sick to my stomach. But yeah, this was a very fun match. Just like you, I really enjoyed Kobashi, and this was the first time I saw Marika
This
Kobashi.
was actually her debut match. I looked it up. This was her debut in Stardom.
In New Blood. Okay.
I think she worked for Tokyo Joshi Pro before this. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But this is her first ever match. Yeah, this is her first ever match here in Stardom, which is cool to see because like I think this girl has potential.
100%. She's got the look. She's got the talent. Her facial expressions were very, very good throughout the entire match. From what I can see in the ring, she's definitely got that kind of actability to her. A very, very well-rounded wrestler. I look very much forward to seeing what else she does.
Me too. And she's only going to improve from here too. Like
absolutely,
Stardom seems to only make people better.
That's what they're supposed to do.
So I'm going to back up here to the last card because I had them out of order, and it's Waka Tsukiyama taking on Nanae Takahashi in another proving match for Waka, because again Waka's trying to prove she can get a win here, and she has yet to win in her entire Stardom career so far. So right here, this was probably the match I enjoyed most on this show.
Have to agree.
Well, it's just this. I love the story of Waka trying to prove herself, and it's and honest, Nanae wins with the frog splash off the top in the end. But them telling the story of Waka trying so hard, getting the straitjacket chokes and the straitjacket slams and the riding the back. I guess I'm calling it the Waka ride now. When she's on somebody's back calling, I'm just calling it the Waka ride at this point until I get an actual name for that thing. But seeing her like getting all these, but just getting power, especially with like someone like Nanae getting powered off and getting like everything kind of getting reversed and getting just beat up. It's such a story I want to get behind, because at first I had no care for Waka, but then once I understood the story they were telling, I think is where it really started to suck me into Waka's story, and I absolutely think this girl is. She's won me over. Don't get me wrong, 100%. And it's just, this story is good. And then Nanae being the old vet that's just beating up on the new girl. I absolutely thought it was the perfect story to tell here. The old vet beating on the new kid. I thought it was great.
And this match actually was kind of one of the higher averages time match for this show. It was almost 12 minutes long. I loved this. This was the match I was fully invested in, and that I could not take my eyes off of from start to finish. Waka started off really, really strong, coming in just strike. But Nanae, I mean, her size and experience was able to gain the upper hand back from Waka very, very easily throughout the entire match. Waka would have these incredible bouts where she just suddenly fires up and like goes Super Saiyan and starts coming back, and then Nanae just essentially just goes, no, sit down. There was a one point where every forearm Waka threw at Nanae absorbed every single one, just not even like reacting. She was just sitting there going, come on.
Yeah.
I felt it was great because that told that story of the proving. What are you trying to say, Andre?
Well, sorry, the only spot I had in here that I didn't care for was the drop kick spot, where she did 7 in a row off the top.
Oh yeah, off of every corner. Yeah. I didn't like that either at the end there.
Like after, like if there would have been like 2 or 3, I probably wouldn't have minded it.
That's further down in my notes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is your top spot. It just was odd. Like just the fact, and Nanae like on like 2 or 3 of them was just standing there letting her bounce off, and it was just like.
Well, let me get there. I'll get there. I got a few more things to say before that one.
Sorry for that.
There was one part at the beginning there where Waka got leaned up against the bottom rope, very similar to how Ruaka, as we had mentioned, does that flying crossbody while someone's kind of bent up on the bottom ropes there. Nanae ended up doing that to her a few times. And there was also a time where she actually got Waka and just started feeding her strikes. I was like, man, this is a child. Stop beating on her, Nanae. You're a vet. You know better. Um, the Waka, okay, I have to ask you because I just know it as the Liv Morgan move. Is the move that Waka does off that second rope is that a second rope flatliner? What is that?
Yeah, I just call it the Liv Morgan flatliner because I don't actually
Okay.
know what the move's called for Liv Morgan either. So it's just a second rope flatliner.
Second rope flatliner. Waka set up and pulled that off on Nanae picture perfectly. I like she's done that move before, and we've seen her do it before, and just as picture perfectly. That seems to be the one signature that Waka is really, really, really good at, and I really like seeing that because no one else in Stardom does that. She is the only one who does that. Same with her little piggyback arm bar thingamajiggy that she does. I haven't seen anybody else do that either. So yeah, the drop kick thing that I have here says that she hit 4 effective ones. The 5th one started to fire up Nanae, and it looked like she Samoa Joe'd her on the 6th one, where she just simply sidestepped it and was like, "What the frack are you doing?" Yeah, and then the 7th one, she just stood there and offered it to her after the 6th one. That one was a confusing spot for me also. Because I wasn't quite sure what it was that they were trying to accomplish with there because it didn't make Waka look stronger and it didn't make Nanae look smarter. Like it didn't really, that spot didn't do anything for them. I felt it was just kind of like a time waster. I would have liked to see something else in there instead. But that being said, they kind of did a lot of everything else throughout the match. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'm in the same boat as you. I don't know what to make of that little section. There was at one point where they were just slapping the crap out of each other. 5 direct strikes on Waka's face. You saw her head just snap each time.
Where she was like just bang, bang, bang.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then followed by Waka actually managing to get a rear choke on Nanae, and Nanae had to fight through that hard. For me, that was actually the point where I actually thought Waka might actually have this. And then seeing Nina run to the ropes and like, you know, cheering her on, almost pushing the cameraman out of the way to cheer on Waka made me feel so happy because like I don't think Mina or Tam Nakano were scheduled on the show, but both of them were there for Waka and in her corner.
Yeah,
And
they
that
were
made
just
me
there
very,
as
very happy to see
seconds.
her.
They were just there as seconds for her, yeah.
Yeah, because like Mina Shirakawa was in like some like fun disco ball shoes that I quite enjoyed that we can talk about later. But yeah, it was really nice to see the girls in the corner. And then Nani had that weird kind of STF thing too towards the end there that I've really, really enjoyed seeing her transition into. But yeah, I definitely feel like both of us were definitely fully invested in watching this match. I feel like this was probably the match that drew me in personally to this show.
Yeah, like going in, I thought like I was like my brain it was gonna be the Club Venus match. It's gonna be my match of the night because like again, big fan. I'm a big fan of Club Venus. I'll heartily admit that. But like this, like, and I didn't think this one was gonna be like. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Waka versus Nanae. Nanae is gonna beat her. That's what I went in with my brain, right? But then like by the end of this, I was like, oh, Waka can win this. Like I was like, come on, Waka, let's go. And then she loses it, but I was like, holy crap, that was amazing. Like like everything they did, the lariat. There's a lariat towards the end by Nanae. She just took Waka's head off, just smashed her, and then hit a backdrop driver for 2. Like just bang, and it just. The way she took her head off with that close and then the backdrop driver, she was just like wrecking the girl, and it was brutal. But yeah.
But that Waka though, she's that little girl that just takes a licking and keeps on ticking. She gets right back up every single time, and she always seems to do it with a smile.
Oh yeah, very much so. Like it's even like after this match, Nanae gave her props. Like she did. Like she wasn't like wasn't as much as what would come on the next night, but she gave her props after, a little bit of props after, and Waka could leave with her head up, and like she fought and fought and fought in this match, and I cannot wait till she actually gets her win, finally gets the win somewhere down the road, because I know coming out of these two shows, there's an ultimatum for Waka that she has to win. I can't remember by a certain point, or she's out of Cosmic Angels.
3 months was her time limit in December.
Yeah, so she has the end of
March.
Yeah, so she's only got another 2 months. And it's like, come on, you got to work, you got to keep going.
Yeah, and who knows what will happen with that? Maybe she can, if she does happen to get kind of booted from there, maybe Mina will have a spot for her on Club Venus.
Or maybe she becomes Donna Del Mondo. Because she seemed to catch, like, we'll talk about it on the next one, but she's got some respect.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So we'll get there. But first, we're going to talk about the New Blood Tag Team Title Tournament. And the first match in that tournament is God's Eyes, Amy Sohrei, and Nanami, who
I haven't seen her before, but I was like doing the like Nanami.
Nanami taking on Momo Kohgo and Momoka Hanazono.
Momoka
Hanazono. From I assume both from Stars, because I know Momo Kogo's from Stars. But yeah, like this is a fun little match. This was a lot of, especially early on, Ami being, I'm the big one, you try to take me down, and like I'm going to beat on you, and like that's very much what the start of this was. It was Ami and Momoka doing that, and Momoka, like it was very much that. There's a spot where Momo Kohgo gets a drop kick into the ropes on Ami, and they put Nanami down, and they put Ami on top of Nanami, and she gets the camel clutch on the on Ami. Well, and then Momoka just sits beside and then holds up this flower, like it was like I was like, that's just goddamn precious. Like it was quite funny to watch.
She's like a carny.
Yeah, kind of. She's very jokey in it. There was a great spot where Momo got like this modified abdominal stretch, and then Momoka getting what I call the Waka ride onto the other one, and I thought absolutely phenomenal. Kind of just watch him, but the ref literally hit the hand of Momoka to like get her to stop doing the move, and they fall over. I was like, why, ref? Why?
Wasn't she the illegal pin or illegal
submission? But it doesn't really matter because you're supposed to focus on the actual submission, not on the other one. You don't care about that one. You only care about the submission that's from the legal people. So
I've actually noticed though in the Stardom shows in the last 3 shows that they've done that with those double pins or triple not pins, double submissions or triple submissions. When they have the main person kind of doing it, they're focusing on the other ones and saying, you're not supposed to do that, get out of the ring.
Yeah,
which is true.
But it's like everybody's doing it. You might as well just let them be.
Everyone's doing it. Go jump off that bridge.
Great spot. Double suplex by Momo and Momoka, and then Momo hitting the 619 for 2 onto Ami. Ami getting that beautiful high angle Boston Crab onto Momo. I'm always impressed when she get, but it was pretty quick though. That Momo got to the ropes, but yeah, I always like that when she got her up like really high angle, high Boston Crab. I like it. I like it. It's different from just a standard Boston Crab. I like that difference. Towards the end, there's a Green Bay plunge by Ami, followed by a second rope splash from Nanami, and then a spinning Samoan drop by Ami to Momo Kohgo for 2. But in the end, Ami hits the Blue Thunder bomb to Momo Kohgo and gets the win. And then, one more thing. After the match was confusing because Azumi comes out, and I don't speak Japanese, and we were watching this on a YouTube broadcast, so there's no subtitles on this one.
Captions are not good for translations on YouTube. Just put it.
Yeah, the ones I had didn't help me at all. And I think she set up a match with Momoka for the high speed title.
I'm
I don't know.
going
They
to
left
assume so.
together. They left together, but I was like, it just seems like it. I don't know.
They left together and holding hands. They're
Yeah,
besties.
so I don't know. Are they like friends fighting or something for a title? I
Frenemies.
don't know.
I don't really know either. We'll have to check out on the news there. I haven't really seen anything kind of, but honestly, with Rumble weekend, I haven't really been paying too much attention. So we'll have to look into that. We'll leave any information we find in the description down below there. I really enjoyed, as you mentioned, Ami at the start, teasing Hanazono about her height there. I really felt Hanazono was like the energy of this match. She was that just perpetual happy girl, and I absolutely loved it. There was that roll around though that Nanami Nanami did
Nanami.
where I can't remember. I didn't have noted here. I'm going to assume it was Momo because that was the last one that I had in here. Did the roll around. She got her all. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Hanazono because Hanazono went limp halfway through, and then the pin attempt. That was fun. I did also enjoy the chop off between Ami Sohrei and Momoka Hanazono, where every time Ami chopped her, she absolutely lost her shit and was just screaming and on the ground, kicking her feet, like having a literal toddler tantrum every single time that she chopped her. I felt it really made in a bit of a comical light, but it made Ami seem stronger. Because we know she's strong. We know she's tough. Like she's very much a tank and a striker. But like I feel that kind of played it up a little bit more, again, in a little bit of a comedic way. But I felt that Ami came out looking very, very strong in that. And I think that's all I have. Yeah, that's all I got on this one.
Yeah, it was a fun opening to the tournament. I really thought.
100%.
So.
I love the bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles were great.
The cameraman probably didn't, but
so
the bubbles.
This is the match where Lady C was actually involved, replacing Mayu here because Mayu got injured, so she is out of this. So it is is it Queen's Quest, Hina, and Lady C? Just pretend Lady C's there, the second one in there, against Chanyota and Mai Sakurai from DDM. This one I've only got a few notes on. I didn't take a lot of notes on this one myself personally.
Sure.
It was a good match. C doing that Cesaro spin on Chantoya or Chanyota, whatever it is. Yeah, Chanyota. I wrote.
Chanyota,
I messed it up. I was writing Chantoya the entire time.
Oh no!
Like in the description, it says Chanyota, but I wrote Chantoya every time.
Oh.
Yeah, that's just my brain not working. You guys see the spin and like lets her go and like sending her halfway across the ring. Like when she lets go, it's just like all reckless abandon. There's no like I'm just gonna like Cesaro when he spins, he kind of drops a person, or she just like lets them fly.
She almost tried to toss them.
Yeah, pretty much. It was very fun, and then gets her across the corner like Sasha Banks style and hits the double knee drop right out of Mercedes Monet's playbook. Sorry, it's Mercedes Monet now, but yeah. Yeah, Chantoya looking. Actually, I really like Chanyota in this match. I keep having it written wrong. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep saying Chantoya. I really like Chanyota in this match. I thought she was like the speed, the power. Like she looked really good. Like she didn't look new. She didn't look sloppy. She looked like kind of seasoned to me. Like she looked very crisp, and like she had this 3 great clotheslines to Hina in the corner, and then her and Mai hit this beautiful double suplex onto Hina, and Chanyota got a 2 there. In the end, though, Chanyota takes out Lady C, and Mai drop kicks Hina off the shoulders of Chanyota, which is like up here on the shoulders. She gets like drop kicked off, and then Mai hits the top rope elbow onto Hina and gets the win. They're moving on in the tag team tournament.
This was so much fun. I have to echo your sentiment about Chanyota. From the moment she walked out, I was like, interested. Yes. Her gear is absolutely incredible. She's kind of got that like chameleon color changing fabric on. So like the picture here really does not do it justice. It like flies wildly back depending on the light reflection between this like beautiful like purple that's comparable to the color of my hair and like the blue on our background. It is absolutely fantastic. The only thing I didn't like was the little heart on it because every time I saw it on camera, it kind of looked like a holographic chaotic thing that was happening. And I'm like, that is on her nipple. I don't want to be looking at that. I want to be paying attention to her wrestling. And man, like as you said, this girl did not come in here looking like she was new to this. She came in here wrestling like a vet. She came in here wrestling like Nanae. And it was absolutely incredible. Her strikes were incredible, her strength incredible. And I felt in this team, the pairing with Mai Sakurai, Mai was getting kind of beat up a little bit towards the end of there. Chanyota kind of became her like cheerleader, coming in and be like, come on, Mai, let's do this, let's do it. And she acted as that fire up for her, which I felt kind of helped bring the end of the match with their double team and Mai's follow up with that elbow drop. I really, really enjoyed this team. I look forward to seeing them continuing in this tournament. I suspect that these two, Mai and Chanyota, might actually be in the finals. Based on what I've seen so far.
I could see it them versus maybe Starlight Kid. I guess we're gonna spoil something here, but we're about to talk about it anyway. The Starlight Kid's team, I could really see that.
Yeah. Definitely.
So we're gonna move on to we're gonna move on to the match that is spoiled, and it's Club Venus's Mariah May and Zaya Brookside taking on Starlight Kid and Karma.
So my question about this is because like I really like this Karma character, but like we know who she is. It's Haruka Umasaki.
Who's that?
Haruka Umasaki. This is Unique Glare. This is Unique Glare minus Ruaka. Umasaki. Yeah. So my question is, why doesn't Stardom get the Karma character? Why do we get the Umasaki character? They're complete opposites, yin and yang.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was her.
Yeah. As soon as I saw her, I was like, what the heck is this bitch doing? This isn't who she's supposed to be.
I am that dumb. I am literally that dumb.
No.
Oh, I feel so dumb.
Not
I didn't realize it was her. I didn't realize it was her. Oh,
the hair color was what gave it away to me initially. But then like her walk doesn't change a lot from Umasaki to Karma. Karma kind of like drags her feet a little bit, but Umasaki and Karma, yeah, they're the same person. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed the Karma character. I felt that like she was kind of like this little creepy thing. I thought it felt a lot more like it fit better with Oedo Tai than Haruka Umasaki in her little pink tutu with her pretty little bow and frills and everything. I really enjoyed how neither Club Venus member wanted to start when they thought that Karma was going to be starting. But then when Starlight Kid was like, oh, I'm going to start. Oh, okay, we can do this. And then Zaya still deking out on Mariah and leaving her trapped in there. I felt that this one was fun though. I really enjoyed Karma in this, and I felt that just like Umasaki and Starlight Kid and Ruaka work so creepy well together. Karma and Starlight Kid work so well together. Not to take away from Mariah and Zaya, they did very well together, and it's obvious they've worked together in the past. But for myself in this one, I just felt that the combination of Starlight Kid and Karma was just a little bit more and a little bit too much for them to handle. Andre, what do you think about this guy?
I really like it. It's again, going into this match, I already love myself some Starlight Kid. I love myself some Mariah May and Zaya Brookside. I've been a fan of Zaya Brookside for years. Through her run with NXT UK. Again, I've been a big fan of this girl for a long time. And going into this, I was like very much like, yeah, let's go Club Venus. I want them to win the titles. But by the end of this, like I was still very in very wanting Club Venus to win, but I was like, I really like this Karma chick. And I still can't figure out why I didn't know this was I can't. I'm very, I guess, unobservant
some
at
people
times.
don't know Clark Kent and Superman are the same people, right?
I'm an idiot.
No. I mean, look at her. That Karma looks nothing like Umasaki until you see the hair color.
Yeah,
and like for me, I'm that person that notices that aesthetic.
I thought she was absolutely phenomenal, and I like her better in this Karma gimmick than I do in her regular gimmick, and found her absolutely phenomenal here. Like just there was a spot though for Mariah May where she did like a pop up, and then Karma comes down and she kneed her in the face. It just looked so good. Yeah,
so good.
And then that there's a double team from Club Venus where it's the double knee face buster into the wheelbarrow suplex. I love that. It's such a simple tag team move, but they make it look so good.
And was that the one where they called it the Kawaii Brainbuster?
No, that's just a double suplex brainbuster thing. It's where
I thought the same thing when I thought that.
It's where Zaya runs up and hits like a lung blower, a double knee lung blower, and then
okay, yeah, that
Mariah's holding her, and then she just whips her back into the wheelbarrow suplex. It's the wheelbarrow suplex always looks just so Brooke. She just whips her back with whoever she's holding back so hard. But I absolutely love this match, and her spot towards the end, Starlight Kid getting that Acai moonsault to Club Venus on the floor. Like from the ring ropes. I thought absolutely phenomenal. The ending though was a little when Karma threw the fireball. And
yeah, I wasn't entirely sure. Like, was that just meant as a distraction, or like
I think she was
supposed to blind her?
But Zaya did not sell it because she pretty much just went off in Karma's hands. So Zaya just went and hit a kick to the head. And then Karma got a crucifix roll on Zaya to get the win. I think maybe she was supposed to kind of throw it in her face and then crucifix her. And I think they just had to kind of they called an audible. And I think they did it well because Zaya got the kick to the head and then went for the move. And that's where Karma crucifixed her and won. But yeah, it was just an odd little thing at the end there, that fire. But I absolutely really I look at this and I'm like, dang, like there's some great teams going forward. And like I said, this is a team I think could be these two versus Chanyota and my Sakurai in the end.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Yeah. Could you imagine?
That'd be absolutely
the reckless disregard of Oedo Tai here, of a unique glare taking on that just power of my Sakurai and Chanyota. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome, man. I absolutely think that was phenomenal. But we get to the main event of the New Blood show, and it is Mirai, which I, for some reason, throughout my entire notes, kept writing Ami. Her tag team partner. It's her tag team partner, but I kept writing Ami every time I was talking about Mariah in my notes. I realized that halfway through it, I'm like, I'm not changing this. Got Mariah and Tomoaki Inaba taking on the team from Stars in Hanan and my favorite Saida. This whole thing was absolutely fun. They got the Ami Mariah, because again I wrote Ami for half of the notes here. Mariah and Saya just slamming into each other with the shoulder blocks at the start there, just both showing I will not go down. And then I think it was Mariah getting the knockdown, but Saya coming back up and hitting a huge clothesline and getting the chops onto Mariah. Absolutely great, just to get her power back. And then Saya and Hanan hitting that piggyback splash, as I like to call it, getting a 2 there. I love these two together. I love Hanan and Saida together. I think they're absolutely fun to watch. There was Inaba gets an ankle lock on Hanan, but she gets out and then just pulls this beautiful flying armbar, jumps up, grabs her, pulls her down to the armbar, and then just turns it into a pin. But I think that was the worst thing she could do, was pull it into a pin, because that gave Inaba because she let go of the arm, gave Inaba the opportunity to pull a knee bar, which she just that looked brutal because she had it on for a good little bit on Hanan there. There was spot. Is it was it Saida and Hanan hit a double axe handle where they both off the second ropes together, sending Ami and Tomo, or no, just that was running, setting Mariah and Tomoka to the floor, and then that's where they hit the axe handles to the floor off the second rope. I again, this time Saya actually did the dive. It was very reminiscent of that one from the H&M match where when Koguma and Hazuki, where Hazuki went flying through and Kohgo came off, but then Saya just stood on the ropes. At least this time she didn't just stay up there.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, she actually got the dive this time. Nice. In the end of this match, though, Mariah hits the angle slam for 2 on Saya, and Tomoka hits the pop-up knee to Hanan, and Tomoka and Mariah hit a sandwich clotheslines on Saida, and Mariah hits almost like a cradle shock, like off the shoulder driver, and gets the pin on Saida, and Mariah and Tomoka and Inaba move on in this tournament. So yeah.
Yeah, just for the sake of time, I'm just going to quickly say, Inaba's kicks throughout this entire match, the strikes were brutal, absolutely brutal. She was definitely leaning on the kind of karate background a lot in this match, but to kind of match Hanan is doing the same thing with the judo. So I definitely felt that I really enjoyed seeing Inaba and Hanan in there together. Mirai is just a powerhouse. I've loved her from the moment I saw her, the quiet riot, as I like to call her. And Ida, just biceps. That is all.
The little muscle girl, as I called her when I first started watching her.
She's the real muscle chihuahua. Ishimori is not.
Okay, why are all my notes out of order? I really messed this up. So we're moving on to the next night, and it is the Stardom Awards show, and I don't know who won any of the awards, so I didn't write it down because I'm an idiot.
I did not write this down either. But I do know that Julia and Suri won Best Bout.
Yeah.
I know that. For their showdown at Queendom.
I'm pulling it up off the Post Wrestling site right now. Just give me a sec. Best Technical Skill, Azumi. Fighting Spirit Award, Starlight Kid. Outstanding Performance, Isaya Kamatani. The Shining Award, which is voted on by the fans, went to Tam Nakano. The Best Unit went to Stars. Okay. Best Tag Team went to Meltier, which is Natsupoi and Tam Nakano. Best Match Award, went to Julia and Suri from December 29th. And the MVP Award went to Suri. Because, you can't say that Suri wasn't the MVP last year because she took that title, defended it throughout, had some amazing matches with it. That one was at Tamahashi Shide at Golden Rush or whatever it was. That match was absolutely Gold Rush. That was absolutely phenomenal. That I could see her being the MVP makes a lot of sense to me.
100%. Because not only was she holding the title, but she also, on top of having amazing matches, we saw a huge diversity in her character, where she was kind of the happy-go-lucky Donna Del Mondo Suri at the beginning of the year, transitioning into the more serious God's Eye Suri. And then when we went into the IWGP tournament, we started seeing the animated Suri again a little bit. Going into the Queendom match, we saw the very serious Suri, and now we're kind of back to that. So she's definitely got a variety, that one. Maybe a little bit of a going through a personality issue. I don't know. But I feel like a lot of these awards were appropriate. The Stars Faction one makes a lot of sense to me, actually, because you have Mayu Iwatani, who is just in the IWGP Women's Tournament, in the finals, too, against Kairi. You got Koguma and Hazuki, who are just insanely over with the crowd.
And they had a great tag title run this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Koguma, just everyone loves seeing her. The crowd pops when they see her. So it makes a lot of sense to me that they won that one, even though I think you and I would agree, we would have liked to see other factions in that. It just makes sense that Stars was in that because of the members that they have.
Oh yeah, very much so. So the
Mm-hmm.
first match of the evening was the future Stardom title match. Amy Sohrei taking on Mai Sakurai. Actually, this is a really fun match. Mai really standing up to Ami throughout. So I might be smaller than you, but I am not. I am not getting it. There's a great spot where Mai actually got an STF on Ami, where she held it for a good bit, like just reefing on that STF, like just like yeah, and Ami getting that beautiful spinning Samoan drop into, and then gets a stack pin, like where you're like push over and stack pin them, and which Mai kicks that too, so she turns it immediately into that high angle Boston Crab. Like I love the way that she knows if she kicks out, I'm getting the high angle crab out of this by getting that stack pin. Like it's a perfect way to do that up. There was a great spot. Mai gets a Falcon Arrow face buster onto Mai. Like she lifts her up like for a Falcon, but then just drops her down in front of her on her face. Like she literally went in face first too. Like it looked like I was like, oh, like it looked really good. Mai missing a somersault leg drop, I think it was. I don't know if it was this for like a swanton.
Off of the top rope there. Yeah, she usually does that very, very well.
And she flips over, and then Ami just rolls out of the way and just butt first in like tailbone first into the mat. I was like, oh, that did not look. I've landed on my tailbone. It does not feel good. Yeah. In the end, though, then there was a beautiful Blue Thunder bomb by Ami, but Mai kicks out at one out of the Blue Thunder bomb. Like she was like, I'm not going down, and then Ami hits that flip clothesline for two. But in the end, Ami hitting the Rikishi, what I'm going to call the Rikishi jar, because I don't know what you called it. Because there was no little thing where it showed.
Yeah, we didn't get our English thing, yeah.
So it was, again, and I know it as a Rikishi driver, because again, Rikishi made this exact pile driver popular. Rikishi driver for the win to retain the Future of Stardom Championship. Like, absolutely phenomenal opener.
You took so much of the stuff that I have to say, so I'm just going to sum it up and say,
I'm sorry.
No, it's good, because that means we're seeing the same things and the same quality of things in these matches, which is really good, because that means we're enjoying the same stuff, right? New gear for Mai Sakurai, just going to put out there. And it looked amazing on her. It was certainly something that I wasn't expecting based on her history of gear. It was certainly a wild color. The fringe on there was not something I was expecting, but it looks incredible on her. I felt that Mai in this match was showing off her experience and everything she has learned up until this point, and was just throwing everything she had at Ami to try to get an opportunity to hold this title. I felt that Ami showed off her strength a lot in this match against Mai, but Mai showing that resilience and just refusing to go down for the entire thing. I felt that this was not only a phenomenal opener and like great opportunity for both of these women, but it showed the audience these two ladies are the future of Stardom. These ladies are coming up in here, and that they're the future of Stardom champion, or that Ami is the future of Stardom champion. Mai is wanting to be in the future. If this is what the future of Stardom is, my guy, we are in for a ride. This is going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. It's the future of Stardom, because there's so much great stuff coming, like just so much. And we're going to move on to this is not a Triangle Derby match. It's a 6-man tag. It is God's Eyes, Mirai, Sohrei, and Tomoka Inaba taking on Rina, Ruaka, and Starlight Kid. I'm going to let you take this one there, Mel. So I don't steal from you
again. So Jumpstart by Oedo Tai. Did we not see that coming?
Well, no, 100%. They always do it.
That's some Quicksilver. You did not see that coming? Yes, we did. This faction, did you see that the little micro faction of Oedo Tai here has a little name? They're called the Young Oedo Tai.
Yeah, I saw that. Young Oedo Tai, yeah.
Yacht. The yacht. I really enjoyed the pairing of these three. I felt that they worked very, very well together. Oedo Tai is just a very oddly, really well working together faction. They're again like that LIJ. They just have that contactless communication where they can just know what each other is doing. or Starlight Kid, like she's one of those people who can make up things on the fly as they're happening. So I felt that this match was a lot of fun. Ruaka and Mirai having some great back and forth on the powerhouses, I feel, of their respective teams. I felt that they had a lot of fun in this. Starlight Kid and Inaba worked very, very well together. I really enjoyed their segment in the ring. Suri, though, I mean, I feel like the rest of the match, like the beginning of the match and everything leading up until the end of it, was just the fun part of the match. And I felt that Suri getting involved was kind of like, okay, we're coming down to the end of things here. We're going to put Suri in. She's going to wreck everything. And then the match is going to end. And that's essentially what she did. She just walked in and she started kicking the shit out of everybody to the point where she kicked Rina pretty much off of her feet several times. And submitting Rina with that, what was that weird submission she always does?
Oh, it's like a. Sorry, it was. I don't actually know the
It
name.
wasn't the muffler. It was the other one.
It was. It was listed as. It was like a hammerlock and armbar combo. It's a Suzuki.
Yeah, it didn't look like one of her regular things. And Rina submitted.
Yeah, because she had a hammerlock in, and then she transitioned it over, or she had an armbar in, and then she transitioned that into a hammerlock and grabbed the other arm and pulled, and it ended up. It was almost like a disarmer at first, like Becky Lynch's disarmer. That she transitioned that arm into a hammerlock and pulled the other arm, and it is called the Suzaku. I just called it a hammerlock and armbar combo, in my opinion.
Rina tapped immediately to it. I can't imagine that would feel good.
There was no waiting.
No. What do you think of this one, Andre?
I thought great little match. There's a great little cross-legged fisherman by Starlight Kid there. I love it when she does. It's one of her normals, but it's just that little bit different. The cross-legged fisherman suplex, and she does the bridge on it most of the time, and I just like the variation of it. Rina looking really, again, 2 nights in a row, looking really good and impressive. Again, looking good. Again, taking the loss, but looking very good. Honestly, a very good match. A very good 6-woman tag here.
Very, very, very fun.
So we move on to the first of the Triangle Derby matches: Queen's Quest, Azumi, Sayaka Iwatani, Utami Yashishita taking on Mai Hemi with C, Himeka, Maika, and Lady C. I'm gonna let you take this one. I'm sorry, I just gotta check something here. I'm having an issue with my computer. I'll let you start with this one. Sorry.
For sure. For me, I mean, this is, again, a personal love for Melball. This is an ideal match for me. We got my favorite faction of Queen's Quest taking on my second favorite faction in Donna Del Mondo and sort of Queen's Quest, with Maika obviously being my girl crush on here. And she actually, my dumb head didn't write down what she did, but I'm assuming it's that yeeting that she always does, where she has, I think it was Azumi on her shoulders, and she just tosses her.
Yeah, I wrote that down. Yeah, dude.
The JBL throw is what I call it, even though I hate JBL. It's essentially what
call
it is.
The hangman throw.
The hangman throw. I mean, she doesn't go fully over like JBL because she don't need to. She's strong enough. She just tosses the girl. That for me, slam of the week. It looked brutal. It was hilarious because like as soon as she threw her, I just went yeet. And that was all you could do. Lady C obviously doing her amazing airplane spin again on Azumi. And because Azumi is so light, she got some mad speed and some mad air on that. And again, just letting her go and letting her fly looks absolutely brutal. Another note I have here is just Utami being Utami. Utami is a tank. Himeka is a tank. The two of them getting in there together were just incredible. But even like Utami and Maika, who we saw team in one of our last shows, seeing them just go one-on-one together was absolutely incredible. But what I love specifically about Utami is she's strong, she's fast, and her moves are authoritative and assertive. She doesn't go into anything half-assed. If she's picking you up, she's dropping you down, and there's no kind of gray area in there. I feel that she flowed perfectly into the Lady C spot. I am going to assume you have that written down and you know the spot that I'm talking about, where
Which
she
one is that?
flowed into a submission spot with Lady C. They were just kind of bouncing each other. It was reversal, 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 and then boom, caught her in a submission. There was too much for me to
Oh,
write
she
down.
caught her into the Anaconda Vice and like grabbed her in the Anaconda.
Riot.
She grabbed her in the Anaconda Vice and then picked her up and slammed her while holding the Anaconda Vice on, and then pulls it across and like pulls her across her knee and applies it to like it. It's just impressive. Just impressive.
Yeah. And like that was just Utami just let her do whatever it was that she needed her to do to pull her into what it was that she needed. It looked absolutely flawless. In the end though, Utami hitting that bridging German, which she is just so good at doing. It's so simple, but it's very easy to make it not look good. And Utami always makes it look good. I absolutely loved it. And then afterwards, the exchange with Lady C and her teammates, giving her a hug, congratulating her. I really felt that this was a great moment for the Queen's Quest faction. Andre, what do you think of this one?
I thought it was great. The lead up to the finish though, with that, I love that drop kick assisted magic killer that they're doing with Azumi coming off top, giving the drop kick into the Saya and Utami magic killer. I absolutely love the added variation for that with the drop kick. I really do. But like great match overall. Like Lady C's power is just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, Maika is awesome.
Oh, very much so. We move on to the next match of the show. It is Rebel enemy, however you want to call them, taking on.
Let's just call them the Rebels.
Maika, Ozaki, Maya, Yuki, Maya, and Ram Kaicho taking on Club Venus's Mariah, May, Mina Shirakawa, and Zaya Brookside. And Rebel Enemy taking a page out of A Way to Tie His Book off the handshake. They attack.
Yeah. Smart. I mean, Rebels.
Again, this is a really fun. Like again, I really enjoyed this match. Like I could say the first like good half of this match is just Club Venus beating the crap out of Ram. Like, am I wrong there? Because she was in there for a good bit of this match, getting her butt kicked.
Of which one? Sorry.
On Ram Kaicho.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like Ram was getting her butt kicked for like most of this match.
Oh yeah, at least half. Mina getting a beautifully applied Romero special onto Ram, and then she brings her down and goes for the as soon as she gets the dragon suplex on in the Romero special, that's where Maya just walks up and just wails her in the back with it, like me in the back with just a harsh kick.
Yeah,
like, I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like it was
not necessary, my friend.
Yeah, there just overall like I have so many notes here, but then like half of it it's random moves. Mina, beautiful spot where she gets to the hip attack to and then the around the world, like she goes up in like leg scissors, but then comes back down beside and Russian leg sweeps Ozaki, and gets a 2 on that, and then she tries to suplex Ozaki, but cannot lift her, so she just flips her around and hits an inverted DDT instead. So screw it, changes it into inverted DDT. I was like, it's like instead of just keeping trying, she's like, screw it, and just flips her over. I was like, that's actually really smart in that way. Like I was like, usually you see them just struggle and try, and then they get picked up and suplexed or something. I was like, the fact she tried it like once or maybe twice, it was like, nope, and just changed it. It's like a weird little spot there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just gonna pop to the end here. Sure. Maya gets the submission, like it was like she had her arm wrapped through her knee, pulling on the head, then pulling on the head, and then just leaning back on the other arm, on Zaya, and it's called the whiteout. And gets the submission victory. I've never seen this before. but it looked
I haven't either. No.
really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looked very different. Like I've never seen even a variation of this before.
I I don't know if this is the right adjective to use to describe it, but I feel like it was very classy. Like it was a classy submission. And it was like, again, as you said, not something that I've ever seen before. And she in that group is really kind of that, you know, Tai Chi character where she is that classy character among them. So I really, really did enjoy this one. The few little things that I did notice, there's at the beginning there, right when they were starting. I don't know what the confusion was, but there seemed to be a little bit of fuzz kind of happening between Mariah and Ram there, where they weren't quite like it didn't. I don't want to say it didn't feel like they knew what they were doing, but like I found it odd that Ram actually did get tripped by Mariah when she did that like jump
Mm-hmm.
down in front of her, and it seemed a little awkward, but they picked up right after that and got into the rest of the match. It was almost like they were kind of like having that getting started kind of nerves out of their system and then getting into the bulk of the match where it ended up being amazing. Maika Ozaki though really coming in like Miley Cyrus throughout the match when she did come in, wrecking everything she could and running to the corner and taking out the remaining members of Club Venus whenever she could. I'm trying to cater to the young kids, Andre. They understand Miley. But she was running in there and taking down the Club Venus every time she could. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of Maika Ozaki. I'm wondering if it's just the Maika name that I'm drawn to. Are you okay over there?
Sorry, it just it gave me one of those pure belly laughs. I'm sorry.
Oh, are we gonna get Andre to cry?
No,
Are we gonna make him laugh so hard he's crying?
It gave me one of those pure laughs where I just couldn't stop.
Hey, whatever works. We're a happy bunch here at Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk.
You know we are.
Yeah, this one I really enjoyed this match. I had a lot of fun with this. I have been enjoying Rebel Enemy up until this point, but I feel like this match was like the match that made me go, yeah, I'm fans of these girls. I was already fans of Club Venus before, but yeah, definitely a fan of Rebel Enemy right now, and definitely want to see more of Maika Ozaki.
Yeah, I hope like we could see lots more Maika Ozaki going forward, and same with Maya too. Like Maya, yeah, however the hell you say it, Maya, yeah. I'm gonna use Maya every time now, but
Maya Brunt.
I really like Maya. I think she's absolutely phenomenal. The kicks,
so good.
They're so clean and so crisp. They're just so good.
Yeah. Very classy.
Very classy. Very classy. So we move on to the next match of the match of the show. It is H&M's, which is Hina, Mayu, Iwatani, and Momo Kohgo, taking on the current Artist Champions, prominent Hiragi Kurumi, Risa, Sera, and Suzuki. Holy crap, Suzuki can kick like nobody's business. I think we all knew that to begin with, but yeah. But I'll say this: Hiragi is probably my star of this match. Just being, I think she was in there for a majority of this match, like I at least in the back half, and just the power that this woman has is absolutely amazing. Just it's just impressive. Like she gets hit, like she gets super kicked by Mayu, then double flapjacked with a drop kick by H&M's, and then a high cross from Momo, and then just when she kicks out, she's just like kind of like still has that ability to kind of push them off in
bench press. Essentially,
yeah, like it's just I'm very impressed by the power, like and the athleticism, because she did a spot where she comes off the top with a double knee drop, or not off the top, off the second rope with a double knee drop. There's it like for a bigger girl, like she's not quite as big as you, but like she's taller than you, but not as like big as you. But she's just it's impressive. It's absolutely impressive. But like, and nothing to take away from anybody on H&M's or the rest of Prominence. They're all absolutely phenomenal. Risa gets this part where she's got her, where she had, I think it was Momo, and she like flips her around her body, catches her, and hits her with a white noise. I was just like she like or she caught her
That
and like
was Momo. Yeah, I had that
yeah,
written
and
down.
she swung her around onto her back from the front or from a carry position, swung
Yep.
her onto her back for the white noise. I was
Mhm.
like, oh nice. And then Suzu hit these just like repeat like, and then her and Risa just kind of kept trading out.
Mhm.
Like one would stomp, the other one was splash, the other would stomp, the other one was splash, and it kept went on a couple times.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
before they did the piggyback spot, but it was like a driving double knees in.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
like absolutely phenomenal. But then I was gonna hop to the end here. I got a little paragraph here for the ending because it was a whole sequence of things that happened. Hiragi getting the black hole slam onto Momo, then stops the Rana with a like from I think with a buckle bomb and just smashes him in the buckle bomb. Prominence hits like double knees twice and the cannonball in the corner. This is where Hiragi gets the double knee drop off the
Mhm.
second. The pin gets broken up, and then she unloads like a huge clothesline on, like she rocks Momo with a clothesline and gets a two there, then goes up, hits the top rope splash, gets the win. Absolute phenomenal match.
Mhm. Mhm.
Showing why
I
they're Art of
actually
Champions. They're showing why they're the Art of Champions.
100%, 100%. I was actually talking to our good friend, Humanoid Freak Andreas, about this match, and I told him, I'm like, if you want to watch Stardom and you want to watch good women's wrestling, this is the women's wrestling match you want to start with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this
Well,
was absolutely
no,
incredible.
I'd go with
We
Suri
have to do a
versus.
slow kind of build. We can't scare them away.
How would that scare him?
I
But I'm
mean,
joking with you. I get
there
you.
have been some things that have happened that we've kind of been like, "Ooh, that might be questionable."
Mhm.
That might scare away some North American fans. That being said, though, don't be scared of Suzu Suzuki. I mean, she might be a deathmatch specialist at age 20, and her back might look like chopped meat, but she is freaking beautiful. She is freaking powerful. I mean, you can see from the picture, she's going after Julia's championship on what, February 4th here? That's going to be absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Um,
February 4th. Yeah.
this match also, I felt showed off Arisa Sera. I noted that she looked really, really strong and dominant in this match. What I really enjoyed, though, I have to shout out Hanan. Her judo tosses are just absolutely amazing. Very, very good. I know, again, it's a very simple move, but for me, if you can do the simple moves very, very well, I really appreciate that. And her feeding both Suzu and Risa Sera the judo throws, and having to have Mayu come in to super kick Hiragi to be able to pull off the judo on Hiragi, but like barely. She barely pulled it off, but she got it. She got her over, and it was
Mhm.
an incredible moment for Hanan, I think. Um, there was a double-decker knee stomp that I have written down by Suzu and Risa. I
Yeah, the
believe.
piggyback knee drop. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like the double decker thing, but yeah, piggyback is cute too. Yeah, but yeah. Last thing I wanted to note is because Hiragi did pick up the win, they played Hiragi's music, and that was, I think, the second time I have heard
Mhm.
Hiragi's music, and it is freaking cool.
Oh, I love it.
Like, yeah, I want to hear more of that music because that music is just insane. I loved it.
Hmm. Absolutely phenomenal. Like great.
Hmm.
Like I said, I am very much becoming a big fan of Hiragi here.
Hmm. Hmm.
I love myself some Suzuki, but out of this team, I think my favorite is becoming Hiragi, which is how versatile she is at everything that she does. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we move on to the final triangle derby match of the night, and it is Oedo Ties, Momo Watanabe, Natsuka Tora, and Saki Kashima taking on Power Passion Pineapples, Nanae Takahashi, Yuna Mizumori, and you. I'm going to let Mel break this one down.
I don't have a ton of notes on this one because I felt
Me
that it was
either.
just a power heavy matchup. Heavy hitting, absolutely heavy hitting. Yuna and Tora having a fantastic start to this match. I am very much so on the Yuna Mizumori train.
Mm.
I absolutely love her match that she had. what was it? The last show that we did with her, Suri, her one-on-one match with Suri, absolutely incredible. Really made me go, wow. I knew she was great with a group, but I didn't know she was great on her own.
No, she was in a 3-way. I thought
with Suzu or with Suri.
No, I think it was with Koguma and somebody else. Because Koguma was stole her pineapple hat.
Yeah, that was another show, my guy.
Okay, I thought that was.
That was another show. I'm not gonna look for it in my notes because I will lose.
I think that was the show you did on your own when we.
It might have been
because that was a couple of shows ago we did because I missed that show. I remember the match. I missed that. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like a one-on-one match to start. It was like, it was Waka and somebody. So yeah, that might have been the one. Yeah, I think you're right. That was the one you made. Well, you should definitely check it out.
Oh, I've seen it. I just didn't get a chance to review it personally.
Good.
Yeah.
So continuing on here, you hitting her role on her own team. Oedo Tai managing to figure things out there and get out of the way. I mean, when you got the combination of Momo Watanabe, Kashi Misaki, and Natsuko Tora, I mean, they seem to be very, very good at scouting out the teams that they are about to face. And sorry, I'm just getting a bunch of private messages and I just saw some funny stuff. Okay, focus, Melball. You hitting her own role on her own team. Oedo Tai, smart enough to get out of the way. They're very, very smart about scouting the people they're fighting and learning and figuring out how to reverse all of the moves and stuff like that. I didn't write down who. I'm going to assume it was Saki, but I have Nanae pinning someone for the win there. I don't know why I didn't have that written down. Andre, what do you think?
Saki goes for her little like sneaky roll up thing that she does, her crucifix
right
roll
on
up.
Nanae, yeah.
But Nanae just is like no and doesn't let her do it and gets her own little sneaky roll up onto Saki to get the win there. Yeah. Which I really like that she didn't let her get her sneaky roll up and got one of her own.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. How do you feel about this one, Andre?
I had a great time watching it. There was a great spot where Oedo Tai had Yuna in the ropes and they had her pulled back, and then like the three members like pose while like stretching Yuna in the ropes, and the other three members are on the floor and everybody's just posing there. It was absolutely. I thought that was just a funny little spot. Yeah, I really like that. Saki trying to lift you was comical and awesome, and then she's like she can't do it, so she just like kicks her in the head, and then then Saki goes and runs, and then you just snap power slams her. The speed on that snap power slam was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, like there's some great stuff here. But yeah, overall amazing match. Nanae, again, like I said, they're their Alabama Razor's Edge thing that they do. I love it. I love that triple team. I very much do. Again, it's a great addition to that double team Razor's Edge. I just love it every time they do it. So yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to give a quick update here on the points. I'm going to highlight this one so you can see it a little better. Red Triangle Division, you got Power Passion Pineapple with 6 points, Queen's Quest with 5 points, Club Venus, Cosmic Angels, and Unique Glare with 4 points each, Bari Bombers with 2 points, and H&M's with 0 points. And then in the Blue Triangle Division, you have you have Prominence on top with 8 points. Then you have Oedo Tai with 6. Then you have Arebono GE with 5. My Hemi with C, and Rebel Enemy with 4, Classmates with 2, and Lollipop still haven't picked up a win. They are 0-4 with 0 points.
Let's hope that changes.
Me too, because we are going to get into the main event of the evening. This is the 10-person trial match for Julia. Okay, so before we get into this, it's supposed to be a trial match to test this woman. And I get some of these people, I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. But why wasn't there Maika? Why wasn't there Suri? Why wasn't there Utami Hayashishida? Those are people in 3-minute trials that would, to me personally, make more sense to be in this than Stardom Super Strong Machine or like
you mean Saida?
I'm going by the person that was, or Hina, like
yes.
Nothing against Hina, but like a Strong Machine in Hina. But it's just people that I look at and I'm like, do they really?
Tom Nakano, Natsupoi, Hazuki, and even I would even say Koguma to a degree. That top line there.
Well, I'm not saying I have nothing against Koguma being in this. Again, she's like high profile. But and again, this is in. But Waka, and I love her, but Saida, like she took it to her, but it's when you look at the other names that could have been used in this trial series, you go, okay, I get it, but I would have loved, you know what I mean? Give her the strongest people in this company. Not saying these other women aren't, but you're trying to test her, and it's just a trial. Give her the worst of the worst. Give her an Amy Sohrei, who's this big, huge, imposing person. Put you in there. Like it's again. I know that I understand the Triangle Derby matches are happening, but other matches could have happened. It's just you.
Yeah, but we want the champion to survive it too.
Don't get me wrong, but it's supposed to be the trial. Her going the best of the best. Not quite totally the best of the best here.
The future best of the best.
Some of the future best of the best. So it starts out with Stardom Super Strong Machine. Stardom Super Strong Machine getting the dominance in this one in the first couple of minutes here. Just shoulder blocks. Boston Crab. Again, who was it in the mask? Did you say it was?
Saida.
Oh, Saida. Yeah. No, Saida's in the 9th match.
That doesn't mean she can't be in the first one. She's been in the Rumbles before too, like that. Same with
I don't think the one was Saida. She seemed too tall. She was the height of Julia. This Strong Machine was the height of.
You can see the purple hair coming out of the mask.
I missed it then. I guess I'm insane. Whatever. I guess you're right. But yeah, right at the end.
I mean, if you think it's someone else, I'm willing to hear the name.
I have no idea, but I didn't think it didn't seem
Whoa!
like what are you doing, girl?
Adjusting. It's cold in here.
At the end, Stardom Strong Machine gets headbutts and a clothesline. The bell goes, and then Stardom Strong Machine hits the suplex after the bell. Kind of like, what the hell?
F you.
Yeah. So then Koguma is the second person out. Koguma starts to do the dance, but Julia wants nothing to do with it. And Koguma does her pose. Julia literally slaps her hand down. It's like, no, you're not doing that shit with me. And then Koguma gets her in, drops her shoulders in the rope, and does the bear thing on Julia's head. And Julia looks like absolutely like incensed by this. Like she's not happy with it. This is where Julia rolls the outside and like grabs the bell hammer and like is threatening Koguma from the floor. Like she's holding the bell hammer, like, come on, I'll hit you with this, like, or something. Like she's like, and then Koguma literally grabs her hoodie and leaves. And then Julia has to bring her back, and it's really. I found it very funny there. That's where Koguma got her into the ropes and did the bear pose, and like that's where Julia was just incensed by it. And then Koguma striking Julia, like bell goes, and Koguma is still just unloading strikes on Julia. So Julia hits the. I want to call again. I'm pretty sure this is all going off of the tweet she put out after Stardom Queendom, the Vermilion, onto Koguma there at the end, and puts her down. And this is where you started to see Julia having to take little rest breaks and get water. I guess she got water after the first one, but you could tell that after this one, she's like, "Oh, she's starting to get a little tired because this is 6 minutes now that she's wrestled." So Thekla is her next. Her tag team partner, Thekla, is number 3 in this gauntlet. Or sorry, do you have anything on the first two?
No. I actually only take I took what am I trying to say? Summary notes on each person. So yeah.
So you're good so far?
I am good so far, sir.
So Thekla is next. This one was very interesting. They actually shake hands at the start. A lot of great mat wrestling for the first minute and a half. I really enjoyed that. And it just, but Thekla getting the advantage in most of it, actually. Thekla getting a beautiful head scissors into a standing rear naked choke. Julia getting the hammerlock Northern Lights onto Thekla. applying the crossface, but Thekla gets to the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, Thekla gets an arm bar.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets a high cross and then applies the arm bar. But as soon as the bell rings, she lets the arm go. She's like, no, I'm not gonna. And then like kind of give like a little hug and then rolled out. But like she, unlike the other two who attacked after, Thekla's like, no, you're my leader. I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm gonna let you let you go so you can get on to your next match.
Mm-hmm.
So the next match is where it's Hina. Now this is again, I think the second person I was like, oh, okay, this is maybe not the biggest, the toughest trial in the world, but Hina gave her a fight. She really did. She did fight. But this is where Julia really made a comeback. I write G for her in my notes instead of writing a whole Julia. This is where Hina gets a few trip slams on Julia and gets two, but then Julia comes back, beautiful DDT and a rocket kick, gets a two. Hina goes for a rolling clutch pin, but Julia, but only gets like where she's like got her and then they like roll in a circle around, where she's like rolling through it. She did that to her, gets a two. And this is where Julia actually rolls up Hina with an SOS, like if you think about Kofi Kingston's SOS, an SOS style pin, and pins her actually. So it ends it before the 3 minutes are up. So yeah, this one she got a little bit of extra time, I think, because she got the pin. So you get a little bit extra time before the next person comes out. And number 5, and do you have anything on those two?
I the only thing I noted is after the match, Hina, showing a lack of sportsmanship and getting angry at Julia for her loss.
Yeah.
But it's like, you took your pin, honey. You could have kicked out.
Yeah, you got pinned. It happens. This is a wrestling match. Julia wants to get. She's trying to get pins to end these matches sooner, so she's in there for less time. She's trying to win. She's not trying to just go through 3 minutes like you are, or trying to get you were trying to pin her. So I guess you's not in this, but you know.
No.
The fifth gauntlet is Hazuki. Hazuki in just boom right off the hop, just boots, slams, and then slams, hits a boot, hits the slam, sent on for two, transitions it into the crossface. Julia gets to the ropes and she starts climbing up the ropes, and then bang, Hazuki with the boot wash thing, just wrecking the face, hits the boot and the ropes, and then they just start trading strikes. And this is where I think Julia really took a lot of damage against Hazuki with these strikes back and forth. And this is where like Hazuki dropped Julia in this. They both like grab the wrist lock of each other, like grab on each other, and then they just start unloading even more on each other. And then they exchange suplexes and the bell sounds. This was, I think, the biggest war that Julia has faced in this so far in these first 5. Like, what did you think of Hazuki here? Like, I thought she was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh yeah, no. This I agree with you. This was Julia's hardest fought match, and this was the beginning of her really starting to be quite winded for the rest of this match. That being said, though, I mean so Hazuki's the 5th person in. Yeah, that's, you got to give it to her. I mean, she managed to get through half of her matches with seemingly not a lot of problem, but like this match with Hazuki, this part really did kind of set her up for the kind of starting to go downfall, because like look at who she had to deal with next.
Well, and the real example was like as Tam Nakano comes out, Julia's just like laid out in the ring, just like just trying to recover, just trying to lay there and get some air back, and she's just like laid out. And this Tam gets in, and they literally stare each other down for a good like 30 seconds at the start of the match. Like they just like stared at each other, like killing time. Like Tam very nice, letting her rest for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then Julia offers the hand, but Tam kicks at Julia, misses, but then hits a kick and gets a super kick. Like Julia went for a clothesline, ducked it, and then Tam hits a super kick. And this is where she goes all out. Tam hits a tiger suplex for 2. So then Julia gets up after that, hits the backdrop driver suplex for 2. Tam then picks up Julia, hits her with her own hammerlock driver. But then Julia comes right back, hits Tam with that. I can't remember what it's called. It's the brainbuster, where she was like a brainbuster driver.
Is it the Glorious Driver?
Glorious Driver. She hits Tam with the Glorious Driver, and then they just start exchanging slaps, right? They stand up. They're just slapping each other. Then the bell goes, and they both stop. Tam just shakes her hand and leaves. I was like, no, that's classy right there. She shook her hand and walked out of the ring. I'm like, I love that she shook her hand after that. I was like she wouldn't shake it off the top, but I'm like, I like that she just gave her the respect at the end there.
I have to agree, and that's a show of a captain and captain, kind of doing what they need to do to show respect to each other, to teach maybe the younger people around ringside to be doing the same thing.
Yeah. And seventh is Saki from and she comes out and they pretty much just start exchanging big boots. This match was all about Saki and her big boot. That's all what this match was. Saki got a sharpshooter at one point, and then right at the end, Saki gets a pump handle bomb for 2, and then picks her up, hits the brainbuster, but just as she's going for the pin, the bell goes. And again, these are all 3-minute matches. So there's a lot packed into these 3 minutes, and it's just so action fast paced. Again, I don't think this was the most compelling one because it was just a lot of boots, the sharpshooter, the pump handle slam bomb, and the brainbusters. There wasn't a lot to this one, in my opinion.
No, but it's set up for the next one.
Very much so. And it's Natsupoi. Nat coming in and immediately goes right to the top, hits the drop kick. Comes in. Okay, sorry. She came in and this is the one where Julia's leaning on the ropes. She just comes in, smokes her with a drop kick in the ropes, smokes her with another drop kick in the ropes, and then hits her with a German suplex on the apron. And Julia just crumples to the floor. Dude, that looked brutal. And then Nat follows it up, hits the high cross off the top onto Julia on the floor. Nat gets her back in, mounts her, and just slaps the living. God damn it! I keep hitting my mic. This is not
You're just
good.
Slapping your mic today.
She just unloads, just slapping the crap out of Julia, just wailing on her face. And then they start trading forearms. Julia hits Nat with a big headbutt and gets a headlock. Julia hits a Falcon Arrow driver, but Nat ends up reversing it into her own pin. Nat hits the Fairy Girl splash, but the bell sounds just as he starts to pin her, and then Nat hugs her. I was like, "Oh, she's hugging her old captain." Because she only left her 6-7 months ago. Was it in July? She left the team.
Yeah, she only turned her back on Julia,
but I just love that she hugged her, and then you have Julia just looking so confused with the hug, I don't like you anymore. Stop hugging me, kind of look. But also a look of
you can tell that's not true.
But also,
she was just confused.
No. But there was also a look of I like this. At the same time, it was there was two feelings in one on her face. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then the 9th match, we got Sayada, baby, my favorite. Sayada, immediately climbs to the top, hits a shoulder block off the top. Just smart. She's already you might as well. And then hits the Northern Light suplex for 2. Saya unloading with her chops. And then the stupid thing she does, she stops and presents the chest for Julia to chop her. Julia just wails her in the face with a slap. I was like, you don't let somebody chop you because they're gonna hit you hard.
What has her interactions with you, with Ami Sohrei? What have you not learned from that, Saya?
I know, and it's just girl, come on. And that's slap to the face. Saya dropped. It was ooh. Saya ends up putting her up in the corner. They fight a bit, and Saya hits a suplex slam off the top. They go to the apron. This is where Julia actually hits the hammerlock Northern suplex to Sayada on the apron. And then they're back in. Saya hits 2 big running strikes to Julia, but the bell does sound. But I think Saya, in what she did I thought really impressive, except for hey, chop me and get slapped across the face. Just look really dumb in that.
Yeah. Maybe don't offer that to your opponent next time. But yeah, this one was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
I eat his drink a lot.
Yeah. So the 10th and final person is Waka Tsukiyama. Waka, again, followed the perfect example of Saida, came off the top of the drop kick. Like, again, just do the most high. Again, she loves her top rope drop kicks as of the night before. We all know that. Waka then hits the Liv Morgan flatliner out of the ropes, and then hits the hip attack for 2. Gets a 2. Waka gets like a back, gets on her back with the rear naked choke. But Julia just like eventually kind of realizes like, oh, and she just does a back bump to break it. I was just like, why doesn't everybody do that when somebody jumps in their back? Just do a back bump.
That's the first thing I think.
Yeah, if somebody goes to my back, I'm going for a back bump. Simple as that. To break it, and then unloads slaps and just slaps the crap out of Waka, and then smokes her with a knee to the face. It looked like, I was like, ooh. Waka then gets up and gets a straight jacket slam onto Julia for a 2, then gets up suplex with the bridge for a 2. Waka then like runs Julia into the corner and tries to get the hanging choke, like where she like it's the straight jacket hanging choke. But Julia ends up turning it around and hits a butterfly suplex. So if you notice, when they got up on the top and she was getting ready for the butterfly suplex, Tam and like 2 other people ran to the corner on the outside just in case, like if they fell. Like I saw them run around to the corner, just be like there to catch if they fell off by accident or something. I was like, I love the awareness from the wrestlers to do that. I was like, oh, that's really, again, you'll never see that in like New Japan or anything like that, but I really like that because these girls are there kind of like for these dives to help protect them so people don't hurt themselves on these dives. And it's like, that's a very smart thing to do, to be there ready to catch if they do have that fall by accident. It's very smart. I really like that. But she hits a butterfly suplex off the top to Waka. And then Julia hits the hammerlock driver, but Waka kicked out at 2, which is huge. So she picks her up, hits Vermilion, but the bell goes before she can pin Waka, and it's over. Absolutely phenomenal. I thought Waka looked amazing with Nanae, but I think she looked so good here, and she didn't lose.
Technically, no.
She got her, and like Julia said after, have you asked her, like when she was telling her and giving her props, have you gotten a draw before? Like ask her. I know you haven't gotten a win, but she says that she that do not give up because one day you will get a win. So she says to her.
Can also remember in that little speech that she was talking to Waka. Waka is being assisted out of the building by Tom.
I was about to forget. Yeah,
and Julia makes a statement. She thought that she was facing Tam again, as opposed to Waka.
Yeah, that was my next note. Yeah.
The looks on both Tom and Waka's face. You could see not only the pride in Waka's face having been complimented so highly, but also the pride in Tam's reaction.
Because she's been building this girl.
But like you could see on camera, Waka looks at Tam like, wow, she just made a comparison of me to you. And Tam was like, she didn't know the difference between us. Like, it was almost like she was reiterating to Waka that compliment of, yeah, you did something really, really amazing that not a lot of people would be able to do. And I feel that this added even more to the Waka story. I'm so fully behind Waka. I don't even care that she hasn't had a win yet. I'm so behind this girl.
But the fact is, she got her first draw. That is huge. That's a step 100%. Up from losing. 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. 100%. And like I said, I don't think that I hope that doesn't come down to her having to leave the Cosmic Angels, because I feel that she is a very good fit to the dynamic of the girls. But that being said, if it does come down to that, maybe we can still see her stay in it a little bit with Club Venus.
But I also thought myself, after the respect Julia just gave her, if she does get booted, is there a chance for Donna Del Mundo? That's the other question, because like Julia obviously
they took Natsupoi.
Yeah, and Julia obviously has some respect for Waka after this match, giving her the praise that she did. there's some respect there now. So could
Mhm,
she end up
mhm.
there if she does get booted from Cosmic Angels? But yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely, and we have been seeing on, like, their Instagram and Twitter, Waka has been seen out quite a bit with Mariah May and Zaya Brookside and Mina Shirakawa, while they've been touring and everything. I mean, they are, again, a part of Cosmic Angels, so that makes
well,
sense,
Mina is.
but yeah, but, that being said, Waka isn't a part of Club Venus. She's a part of the Cosmic Angels, but has been hanging out with them. So it
Could
has
be.
been fun to see them, having fun, rubbing Buddha's feet and all that. Um, but it does kind of, put out there, if things don't work out with Cosmic Angels, Waka potentially has a place that she could learn and continue to learn from the Cosmic Angels, because I do really think that it is the best place for her.
Yeah, I do think so. But
Mhm.
we have come to the end of the January 21st Triangle Derby show.
Whew.
So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to our sponsor down in the right hand corner down there. Mel's going to point at it. Rogue Energy. You can scan the QR code or go to rogueenergy.com. Use promo code OLEPODS for 10% off your order. And speaking of OLE, I got to thank our friends over at OLE. I know it's above Mel. I'll get her to point up at that one. Yeah, up there. I want to thank our friends over at our local establishment. You can, I better put their little banner up. You can check them
Oh.
out on twitch.tv/ our local establishment, Instagram and TikTok at OLE Podcast, or at youtube.com/ at our local establishment. Thank you so much for everything, all the partnerships and everything they've done with us. I appreciate that so much. You can find so much
Mhm.
great content over there on OLE every day of the week. We've got some great,
Mhm.
yeah, almost every day of the week. I think Saturdays is the
Pretty
one
much, yeah.
only. I think Saturday is the only
Saturday
day
and
we ever have
Wednesdays.
regular product we don't have on, but it's constantly got something up there. And I
Mhm. What
want to
have you got up there, Andre?
Oh, I'll get to that. I'll get to that in a bit here. But we are. I
Excellent.
want to get. I want to thank our good buddy Mike the Ref for co-hosting us on his show. You might be watching us over on Backbreaker Video. So up here, Mike the Ref Backbreaker Video. You can also find him on youtube.com/ at Backbreaker Gaming, also for his gaming stuff. Or you can
Mhm.
find him on Twitch at twitch.tv/ Mike the Ref. Thank him so much for all his support, the support he's given me for many years in all the podcasting endeavors I have tried. This is the most successful one so far because I couldn't have done this without Mel. That's for heckin' sure. But thank you, Mike, for hosting us on your show. And if you're watching us on Backbreaker Video, check us out over here at Andre and Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube, because that's where we hang out. Where our content is all usually through.
Mhm, mhm. And we're always posting videos it feels like almost every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right now because of the amount of tournaments, but we guarantee to put stuff out on Wednesdays and Fridays for Stardom, as well as NJPW Puro Resu Review. Hey, I said it right.
You got it.
I said it right. This is like the Tsukiyama thing.
You have to write it phonetically.
Oh my goodness. Andre, if we're looking to follow you on social media, where are we going to find you, my friend?
You can find along the bottom. You can find me on Twitter at that Canada guy, Instagram at that Canada dude. You can find me on our Facebook page, Andre Melball Wrestling Talk, and you could this coming February, the weekend of third weekend in February, you'll be finding me back live on the OLE Twitch page. We're not sure if it's going to be the 18th or the 19th, but one of those 2 days, myself and OLED will be back with another edition of Marvel Talk, where we'll be breaking down Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, the kickoff to Phase 5. Yeah, Phase 5 of the MCU. So I'm really excited for that. So yeah, check us out over on OL East, and yeah, check us out all there. And you find, if you want to talk to me, Instagram, Twitter,
Mhm.
the comments below. Like, we appreciate all the comments that you guys leave
Mhm.
us, and we really do appreciate it. Comment, please, like and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We really do appreciate it. You know, it helps grow us. Every time we subscribe, we know we got somebody watching us. We really appreciate all y'all watching it and commenting. And Mel, where
Mhm.
can we find you?
You can find a Melball on Twitter at Collins Melball. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, and now Mastodon under Melball Collins. You can also find me on Facebook at the same place as Andre at Andre and Melball's Wrestling Talk, and also at Melball Collins. And you can also find me on our local establishment every other Monday, where my show Paramindful, along with Alex and Carl Carafel, is going to be airing, as well as on the Ladies Wrestling Showcase on Astra Pizarro's YouTube. Shout out to the beautiful natural there. Doing the, Ladies Wrestling Showcase, where we talk all things trendy and new and happening within women's professional wrestling. You don't want to miss out on that. Andre, my friend, do you have anything else to share with the lovely friends besides your Chop Talk episode that will be coming out with our good friend Andre?
Actually, you'll probably already seen our Chop Talk by now because we're actually recording this before I get to record. That came out this past Monday with our good buddy Andreas, otherwise known on YouTube at Humanoid Freak, or on Twitter and Instagram at Humanoid Freak. You can check him out there. We did a great, well, I guess we haven't, but to you, we'll have had a great talk about the Love Wrestling show, Love Wrestling 11, the Blue event. So check that out. We break that show down.
We will have that as a clickable link in our ending here for you. Make it easy peasy lemon squeezy to get to seeing Andre and Andreas's, the Humanoid Freaks review there. Of you guys are reviewing a local wrestling show here, right? Love Pro Wrestling?
Yeah, Love Pro, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Andre, if you don't have anything else to deliver to our beautiful viewers here, I am your Melball. That over there is your Andre. We will see you next time.